Hey, work from homers, Adam Schrader here. We love bringing you this podcast, and thousands of you have proven that it's been helpful for you. But since time and online storage space aren't free, Naresh and I wanted to come to you personally to ask for your financial support through Patreon. Go to patreon.com/workfromhomeshow and help support the show. And we appreciate your support at any amount you choose. That's patreon.com/workfromhomeshow. Thanks for your support. Let's get to the show.
Forced to work from home by your employer? Laid off or feeling depressed at home? Do you want to make money working from anywhere? We'll show you how to do it from your couch. It's time for another episode of the Work From Home Show. Coming to you from their homes in Austin, Texas and Tampa, Florida, here are your hosts, Adam and Naresh.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Work From Home Show. Shout out to all our homies, homeboys, homegirl, home trans, all the work from homers out there. We appreciate you so much for joining us. We are joined today by my co-host, Naresh Vissa, as always. And today we have Dr. Sylvia Earle on the show with us. Dr. Earle is the founder of Deep Ocean Exploration and the Sylvia Earle Alliance and Mission Blue Research. She is also National Geographic Society Explorer in Residence and the first female chief scientist of the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. She is also, the accolades keep coming, people. She's also Time Magazine's Hero for the Planet in 1998 and subject of the Emmy award-winning Netflix documentary Mission Blue and Seaspiracy, and the best-selling author of The World is Blue, How Our Fate and the Oceans Are One, and the new book, National Geographic Ocean, A Global Odyssey. Dr. Earle, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on board.
Absolutely. It is a pleasure. Can you give our audience, that was a massive thing going on, but with the intro, but can you tell us a little bit about how you got started and why you're so interested in, what's going on in our ocean?
When I first fell in love with the ocean, I had no idea about the true nature that we now are beginning to understand, that the ocean is the system that makes our existence possible. No ocean, no life, no blue, no green, no us either. And now we can see what we could not see until quite recently, that Earth is an absolute miracle, blue miracle at that, in a universe that really is not very friendly to the likes of us. We have a planet that really works in our favor, but when you think about the odds of how we got to where we are, it's really amazing. And the idea of living elsewhere in the universe, we could probably send a few people to set up housekeeping elsewhere on the moon or Mars, but imagine a home for nearly 8 billion of us and the great wealth of other creatures upon whose existence, our existence, depends. The rest of life on Earth make up the fabric that keeps us alive. It's a living system, and we're just now beginning to understand and appreciate and value that all of that, the life, the living planet, the living ocean. So I didn't have a clue. All I knew when I was a little kid was that the ocean was big and beautiful and exhilarating and filled with creatures that I found endlessly fascinating, and I still do.
Sylvia, we had a previous guest on our show, David Owen, who wrote a book called The Green Metropolis, and it's about how living in smaller cities is just overall better for the environment. And we also talked about the pandemic and working from home, or we're the Work From Home Show. Do you think that the rapid adoption of working from home over the past few years has affected our fate with regard to climate and pollution?
Well, it certainly has caused us to change our ways. That who would have imagined that we could so alter transportation that the skies would become clearer, that the ocean would become quieter, that we would really be forced to look at ourselves in new ways. Some call this the anthropause, the time when we kind of hit the pause button and look around and realize that we are vulnerable. We're vulnerable to the laws of nature. We think we make the rules, but in the end, nature makes the rules. And we've kind of set ourselves up with these, well, by dominating the earth, destroying much of the natural fabric of life that really makes our existence possible. But we did it not understanding, not knowing the consequences, but now it's obvious in ways that are armed with technologies that serve us well in terms of communication and being able to view Earth from space, to be able to measure things such as the level of carbon dioxide and other materials in our atmosphere, or to go deep in the ocean. Could not do that. No one had done that when I was a child. But now we know there's no excuse for bad behavior when we know our lives are threatened by destroying the natural systems that keep us alive.
Yeah, so I've been reading about the massive, like almost land-like structures that all of our trash in the ocean has made, and kind of the efforts that are being done to clean it up currently. Have we skewed enough towards conservation and cleaning up that stuff like that is going to be solved, in your opinion? Or is it something that is just continuing on, and so much damage has been done right now that I don't want to say so much has been done that there's no point in even trying, but is the damage that has been created reversible at all?
We cannot go back to what was even 10 years ago, let alone 1,000, when the world was much more habitable than it is today. But we can turn from decline to recovery. And we have to be, scale up and speed up in terms of embracing the last remaining wild places on the land and in the sea, intact old growth forests. Why are we still cutting down 1,000-year-old trees in California? Why are the Amazon forests, or the forests anywhere on the planet, from Africa to Indonesia, why are we still taking these ancient systems when we know, A, we can't put them back, and B, that they really are part of what keeps us alive? When you think about climate change alone, the carbon cycle, the carbon that is put into the atmosphere, complementing what we put in there by burning fossil fuels, when we burn or cut down a forest or take hundreds of thousands, millions of tons of wild animals from the ocean. It's like taking giraffes by the ton. We take wild animals and only don't think of them as individuals. We think of them as pounds of meat or products that we can extract. They're not even dignified as wild animals. They're just fish or squid or shrimp or krill. That has to change if we are to really get to a better place, to respect the importance of wild systems, intact ecosystems on the land and in the sea. It's estimated that the amount of damage done by catching fish using destructive means, such as trawls that scrape the ocean floor, or long lines that are indiscriminate about what goes to a hook. You might be fishing for tuna, but they catch sharks, they catch dolphins, they catch birds, a lot of things that are captured and simply discarded, but they become more carbon dioxide and methane in the atmosphere in the process of just being discarded. But disrupting that ocean floor releases carbon dioxide and the carbon capturing mechanisms that hold the planet steady. It's a question of understanding basically how the world functions in a natural way, and then realizing what can we repair? What damage have we done? What damage are we now doing? How can we live with a lighter touch and become really aware of how we are a part of nature, not apart from it? We have to work with the systems, not go in and kill everything, dominate as if it doesn't matter. because clearly it does.
Yeah, I was reading your 2019 ocean report, and you say your goal is to have 30% of the ocean fully protected by 2030. First off, why 30%? Like, why? How did that number come from? And also, as a follow-up, what percent is protected, if any, right now, and how realistic do you think that goal is?
Yeah, such good questions. Well, a scientist in England, Callum Roberts, spent his lifetime just looking at what is the minimum amount of the ocean, if fully protected, could have some hope of maintaining the integrity of the systems that we rely on. The carbon cycle, the oxygen cycle, even the ability to extract some measure of wild animals as food and products. And he calculated that at least a third, better would be better. Ed Wilson, notable scientist at Harvard, who studied the nature of nature for his lifetime, says, with 8 billion people, we have to think differently than we did when there were only a billion of us, like 1800, or 2 billion in the 1930s, or 4 billion in the 1980s. Our numbers are increasing, and the cost is what we're taking out of the natural systems without really regarding what we can take and still have a planet that works. His view is that at this point, at least half of the world must be safeguarded, land and sea, to restore what we can of damaged areas. Okay, so I ask, great. If we protect half of our heart, but let the other half be used for some other purpose, could we survive with half a heart? Can we survive with half a planet intact? Probably not. I think we need to do what we can to safeguard those critical areas that are still in good shape, restore what we can, but to look at the whole world as our life support system and do everything we can, behave ourselves. Look at what the toxins that we release into the air wherever we are putting noxious things into the air. Consider wherever on the planet you are about what you take out and put into the ocean. If we get serious about respecting nature, all of it, this network of extraordinary creatures that have shaped the world to a place that's hospitable for us, and to realize if we lose them, we lose our life support system, and our future simply is not realistic on this planet that is such an amazing place. Why are we seemingly with deliberate efforts destroying the systems that keep us alive? I think because we didn't know that before. No excuse now, though. We've got evidence that the natural world, intact, made our existence possible long ago, and it still does. But nature is struggling. The ocean is in trouble. We're in trouble. Imagine if we did not know, and we kept doing the same stupid things. It would be stupid now. Before, we just didn't know. Now we know. So we're armed with knowledge. And to the question you posed, can we move from decline to recovery? I think the answer is a resounding yes. We are doing it in some areas. More whales today than there were when I was a child. More sea turtles. And when areas are protected, life recovers as long as the basic ingredients are still there. By losing so many pieces of the big puzzle, we put ourselves at risk that recovery won't be possible. If we take all of the tunas, or now they're down at a level that is frighteningly small as compared, again, to my own lifetime or yours, the decline has been rapid. I mean, from 1970 to where we are now, bluefin tuna, as one great example, have declined by 90%. So we have 10% left. That's cause for hope, right? Overall, about 3% of the ocean, 3% is highly or fully protected. We are taking 97% of the ocean as a big grocery store where you don't have to pay when you check out. You just go out and catch things. But there is a price, and all of us are paying. Now, some people will, of necessity, eat wild animals, whether from a forest or from the ocean. But that does not apply to most of us. Nobody needs to eat bluefin tuna, period. Not in this day and age. It's a choice. It's a luxury. It's a habit. It's an acquired taste that if you really are serious about restoring health to the planet and chances of your survival, you'll think about what you're eating and what the real cost of these wild animals is when you look at the impact on the ocean, on the world as a whole.
Well, how about we talk about some actual, solutions? Do you think this crisis is irreversible, and what can we do? What can our listeners do within the next 15 years or so to save the future?
Well, start right now and treat the natural world as if your life depends on it. What have you got? Look in the mirror. Whatever you've got that sets you apart, that you're pretty good at. Good with numbers, good with language, good with kids, good with animals, whatever. Use that knowledge and apply it to going from where we are to get to a better place. We can take from where we are to get to a healthier planet and healthier people, a healthier economy, but it starts with understanding we must take care of the natural systems, species by species, area by area. I call these areas hope spots, but whatever you call them, national parks, sanctuaries, protected areas, treat them with respect and understand the more we do to protect nature, the more we're doing to protect everything we care about, including life itself.
Is there any legislation out there right now that is kind of that your group and your organizations are supporting, that people could actually, go out and tell our representatives, hey, you need to, vote this way or the other on this legislation?
Yeah, scale up protection for natural areas, scale up protection for our water systems, and realize we have to share what we take with all of the natural world, because keeping them healthy means keeping us healthy. Look at your everyday behaviors, not just, although it is important to work with legislators and the leaders, be a leader yourself in your everyday life by taking actions that will set an example for your kids or for your friends, that what you choose to eat or wear, become knowledgeable, do what you can, understand the problems, and then apply your ability, your talent, your special nature to pick up a piece of it and do something about it. Don't wait for others to solve the problems when you have capacity to do something yourself.
All right. Well, Dr. Earle, thank you so much for joining us today. The website is mission-blue.org. That's mission-blue.org. Her new book is National Geographic Ocean, A Global Odyssey, as well as her best-selling book that she released a little while back, The World is Blue, How Our Fate and the Oceans Are One. Dr. Earle, any final things you want to tell our listeners or anything else you want to promote?
Yeah, I would suggest that everybody go out and jump in yourself. Get a face mask. Take a kid. No child left dry. No adult either. Get acquainted with your blue planet one way or the other. You're never too young or too old to go exploring. And maybe it's in your backyard, but maybe it's in the deep ocean beyond.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Again, the website is mission-blue.org. Or if you don't feel like going to a website or reading a book, you can also check out the Netflix documentary Mission Blue. I believe I've had my kids watch that, to be honest, and it was I'm pretty sure they really enjoyed it. So check out Mission Blue. To all of our listeners, check us out at workfromhomeshow.com. That's workfromhomeshow.com. If you have any questions for us, feel free to email us, hello@workfromhomeshow.com. That's hello@workfromhomeshow.com. We would really appreciate you leaving a review on the podcast platform of your choice as well. We'd, sign up for our mailing lists on our website. We're sending out some Black Friday goodies. And until next week, keep on working from home.